Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm gonna try and dress a little cleaner. Uh, you know, I'm very comfortable in a t-shirt and some sweatpants, but I gotta dress like a boss. And t-shirt and sweatpants are for another time. Whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna continue my reading of the New Testament. I am on Matthew chapter 8. Um, let's have some fun. Let's dig into the word. Let's educate our minds. Let's enlighten our path and inherit the kingdom and all the beautiful, beautiful fruits intended for God's chosen. All right, so we are on Matthew chapter 8. And Chiquita is here. She, she wants me to read Mark, but we're going with the plan. Stay mission focused, don't be pulled in every direction, and that's how you get things done. Okay, chapter 8. When he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Jesus put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And I just want to mention how powerful God is. He said, I will, be thou clean. And the leprosy was gone. That's how powerful God is. God isn't just your best friend. He isn't, your neighbor. I mean, we can know God on several levels. There are several names for God. He is the healer. He is the provider. He is our counselor. He is our God. He is our Father. So all those relationships we have with him, he covers all of them. Like, he's God. He's magnificent. And this is ministering to me, just one simple sentence: I will, be thou clean. No hocus pocus, no anointing anything, no rubbing your hands together, no screaming, no shouting. I will, be thou clean. Bam, done. He is God. He's the creator of the universe. It is so, 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 so easy for him. And I need to register with that because I talk to him. He is my counselor. I know him on that level, but we really need to start talking to God like he's God. He is the creator of the universe. Just one little sentence from his mouth can cure disease in the snap of a finger. So he's not just Jesus, and here he is God in the flesh. So it is different, but I'm he really is like so magnificently huge and large and glorious and beautiful and powerful. And that's what I'm telling myself. So I I want to just let that be known. All right, so verse 4. And Jesus said unto him, See thou tell no man, but go thy way, shew thyself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded, for a testimony unto them. And when Jesus was entered into Capernaum, they came unto him, a centurion, beseeching him, and saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. And Jesus said to him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. And everything is just like laid right in front of us. He's like, Jesus, help me, my servant's sick. And Jesus like, okay, I'll come over, I'll heal him. But the man's like, no, wait, do it this way, this way, this way. It's like, you don't believe in me, do you? You don't believe I'm God. And that's why your servant is sick. That's why your servant is sick. Jesus said, okay, I'll come over. All right, Jesus, let's go. That's the attitude you're supposed to have. But he's like, no, 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 let's do it this way, this way. You don't trust God. And that's why your fruits are dying. That's why your fruits are rotten. You really need to see God for the magnificence he is. And that's why it's laid out like this. The servant that trusted him, Jesus said, okay, be healed. Bam, done. Jesus said, I'll come and heal him. No, 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 no. you know so this is what he's talking to. It's the people that think they have to prepare themselves for God. God just says, hey, I can do it in the snap of a finger. You don't have to prepare yourself. Come as you are, you know? All right, all right, all right. All right. Verse 9, for I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, go, and he goeth, and to another, come, and he cometh, and to my servant, do this, and he doeth it. Okay. When Jesus heard it, he marveled and said to him that followed, verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So he's saying, just have noble character, do a good job, seek wisdom, don't seek leadership, don't seek education. Those are all things of the world. And he's saying, you're not being a good leader. He's your servant, but he's not listening to you because you don't explain it to him well. When you think you're better than someone, it's hard to relate on their level. And I see a lot of people like this. They think just because you work at McDonald's, or just because you're homeless, or just because you choose a humble lifestyle or a humble career, that they're better than you. And even God's chosen believe this. They think, oh, I got my degree, so I'm smarter than you. And you talk to people like that. That's not how you talk to people. I talk to people based on how God sees them, and if you are a beautiful chosen child of God, everything your heart desires can be given to you. Everything, 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 everything. And if you're wicked, lake of fire, bottomless pit, you're blasphemy. I never knew you. Get away from me, It really does depend how you see them. And so many people think, I did all this work and got all this education and all this glory, so I'm smarter than you. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. That's not a good leader. That's not a good leader, And this is what Jesus is portraying right now. You're going to be just as bad as the wicked because you didn't seek righteousness. You didn't seek wisdom. Someone gave you the cheat code. And in some ways, honestly, that can be worse because you have the authority of a king, but you don't have the wisdom of a king. So you're hurting God's chosen. You're putting God's chosen in chains. You're kicking a slave in the face for having a giant chain around their neck and saying, what the heck is wrong with you? Smacking them. What the heck is wrong with you? Smacking them. What the heck is wrong with you? Smacking them. When they have a giant chain around their neck and they can't do a backflip, And this is who he's talking to right now. I mean, that's a beautiful chosen child of God, And Jesus said unto the centurion, go thy way, and as thou hast believed, so it be done unto thee. Okay. So, that's why a lot of people, they say, fear God, fear God, fear God. And God can put, warning in your heart, like, don't do that, you're going to get in trouble. But really, God is so beautiful. I'm not afraid of God. I know he loves me like crazy. And I know when I don't obey him, I get in trouble. But that's not fear. That's answering to the God you chose to serve. If you believe the lies, you will fall under the law of man. The law of the wicked. You're all equal if you want to believe the lies and that society tells you. I don't believe the lies society tells me. I believe the voice of truth. I have a crown of righteousness. I'm clothed in white robes. I am so loved. You always face the God you worship. I'm not a bit scared of God. I'm not afraid of the devil either, but I'm lawful because I know how loving God is, And when you step out of God's will and his law, that's when the enemy can attack you. And people, I've even been one of these Christians. I've been like, why God, why God, why God, why God? I'm such a good person. I love, I encourage, I nurture. And I finally had to wake up one day and realize I was blind. I saw the wicked in front of me. I saw them gossiping. I saw them stealing. I saw them cheating. I saw them being jealous. I saw them being envious. I saw them praising false idols. But in my mind, I'm like, Jesus forgives everyone. Jesus loves everyone. Maybe they'll get to it. Maybe they'll get to it. And that's not the gospel. Jesus said lake of fire, bottomless pit. And once I realized like how pure evil these people are, like the occult has done so many demonic rituals on me that I had no choice but to wake up and forge my sword and fight back, saying, no, the enemy comes to kill, rob, and destroy. I'm not going to let you kill me. I'm not going to let you rob me. And I'm not going to let you destroy me. And if you want to try it, you can answer to the God you serve. And I promise you, he hates you. All right. All right. Verse 14. And when Jesus was come into Peter's house, he saw his wife's mother laid and sick of a fever, and he touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she arose and ministered unto them. When the even was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and cast out the spirits with his word, and healed all that were sick. So it says his word. These are men that are stuck in the law of man. They believe God, they love God, they're religious, but they're stuck in the law of man. They are persecuted for being righteous, so they zipped their lip and did their job. God said, they hated me, they're gonna hate you. But guess what? I died on the cross so you don't have to suffer like I did. You can deal with their hate, but they're not gonna touch you because I carried that cross. You have nothing to be afraid of. I carried that cross. I carried that cross. I carried that cross. And that's his promise. That's his law of love. That's the joy of the Lord. And that is my strength, That it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, himself took our infirmities and bare our sicknesses. Now then Jesus saw great multitudes about him, and he gave commandment to depart unto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Jesus saith unto him, the foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. And another of his disciples said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. But Jesus said unto him, follow me, and let the dead bury the dead. And when he was entered into a ship, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. And his disciples came to him and woke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And that, again, verse 25, the disciples came to him and woke us, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And him is italicized because they don't have faith in God. They are terrified. They're like, oh my goodness, we're about to die. We're about to drown. They're freaking out. And Jesus is sleeping. Jesus is God. He knows God. He's 3 in 1. But it's always italicized, like they have no faith and they're freaking out. Just calm down and trust God, And he saith unto them, why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? He just woke up, like, why are y'all scared? You have no faith. That storm is not going to hurt us. It's not going to hurt us. And even if it does, we're going to recover and we're going to inherit the kingdom, like, calm down. A tornado could come and rip off your roof. Hey, guess what? There are beautiful Christians out there who can donate money to fix it and you'll get a better roof. It's just, you have nothing to fear, nothing to fear. And if it's taken away, let it be taken away. You'll get something better, But if it doesn't even have to be taken away, there's absolutely nothing to fear. Just have faith in how much God loves you and how big he is, Why, oh, little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. But the men marveled, saying, what manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? And when he was come to the other side, into the country of the Gergesenes, whatever. I should read it. Gergesinus. There he met him two possessed with devils, coming out of the tombs, exceeding fierce, so that no man might pass that way. And behold, they cried out, saying, What have we to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God? And thou art come hither to torment us before the time? And there was a good way off from them, and herd of many swine feeding. So the devils besought him, saying, If thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine. And when I read Gergesinus, I'm thinking of gurgitate, and I'm thinking of bulimia. I'm thinking of an eating disorder, and eating disorders are so demonic, so evil, so disgustingly blasphemous. They want to destroy your life. They want to take your medicine away from you. They want you to look in the mirror and see disgusting when you're a beautiful chosen child of God. So that's what I see, Gergesinus. And so the devil torment us before the time. And there was a good way off from them, a herd of many swine feeding. And the biblical term for swine is pretty much a disgusting woman. God would never say anything bad about his children. He loves pigs. He loves chihuahuas. He loves monkeys. He loves horses. Those are God's chosen. Animals have so much wisdom and so much to offer us if we just listen to them and talk to them and give them what they want. They're so, so, so humble. They build their nests in trees and just eat their little seeds, and they're happy. They're very happy. So when God is saying swine, he's saying a demonic soul, a truly demonic soul. And these men are possessed by devils. That means they're being tormented. But he sees the disgusting demonic occultists over there, and they're eating. But I mean, listen, men that are married to occultists with bulimia, they are probably possessed with demons. I haven't studied that deep into that type of seeds, but I mean, of course, they're beautiful chosen women with bulimia, but that's because there are occultists in authority eating and drinking. You fall under the law of man if you worship man. But so the devils besought him, saying, If thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine. So that's a demon inside a man saying, So the devils besought him, saying, If thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine. And he said unto them, Go. And I think it's so important when you're dealing with someone who's demon infested, don't talk to the person, talk to the demon. And I suffer that problem too, because I do deal with demon infested people who are chosen child of God. And I talk to the person and I'm like, this. But when you're casting out demons, you talk to that demon in that person and say, hey, you have no authority here, demon. And it leaves. You don't say, hey, you have no authority, demon, when you're talking to you, when you're talking to like a child of God. You need to talk to the demon. Don't talk to them. And he said unto them, Go. And when they were come out, they went into the herd of swine, and behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the seas and perished into the waters. Meaning they can't handle it. But a chosen child of God can handle it. These men were alive and battling these demons every single day. But once the order's established, they fold. The occultists fold like that because that's God's law. They're disgusting. They can't handle the truth. That's why they're so delusional. They refuse to handle the truth. But God's chosen look at the truth every single day in the mirror, and they fight. But put your cross on an occultist and they fold immediately. Perished in the waters, and they that kept them fled and went their ways into the city and told everything and what was befallen to the possessed of the devils. And behold, the whole city came out to meet Jesus. And when they saw him, they besought him that he would be depart out of their coast. You know, they're attacking Jesus. You know, he said, they hated me, they're going to hate you for preaching the gospel. And, you know, honestly, if like a herd of pigs, no, I love animals. I'm a huge animal rights advocate, but it's deeper. You know, if a herd of pigs ran out, they'd get mad. But if it were like humans, this is going to get a whole mob on your case, you know, a whole angry mob, because humans are considered higher than animals. And I believe human and animals are equal unless you're blasphemy. You are below animals. I love a worm more than I love blasphemy, you know? And I'll leave it there. I like to keep my my readings at 20 minutes. So, have a good day.